Gotta catch 'em all, but at what cost? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 craziest things that happened while playing Pokémon Go.
From driving accidents to distracted pedestrians and dangerous trespassing, as was the case in Encinitas.
For this list, we're taking a look at the most interesting, ridiculous, and downright insane things that have happened to people while playing this hit augmented reality game.
I will be a Pokémon Master! Pokémon Master! That is what Ash, get to bed!
Number 10. Water bomb attack.
Welcome to lecture number 8 on the water balloon. Yesterday I asked everyone to think of other liquids you could fill a balloon with. Water? Oh!
A suburb of Sydney, Australia, Rhodes is a hotspot for players to come together, set up lures, and capture Pokémon. Trainers are particularly attracted to the neighborhood's Peg Patterson Park, which hosts several Pokéstops, along with a number of apartment buildings. Understandably, some locals aren't pleased that crowds of hundreds and even thousands have been gathering there late at night. On one especially noisy evening, residents started to hurl water bombs at the 300 people outside.
He was soaked. Did you get hit by a water bomb?
They were also bombarded with eggs, and we're not talking about Pokémon eggs. The cops threatened players with a $200 fine if they refused to leave. Keep this in mind, guys. If you're catching Pokémon late at night in a residential area, try not to be so explode. Number 9. Trainer gets stabbed and keeps playing.
I saw him go by and I was like, "You playing Pokemon Go?" or whatever, you know? And he's like, "What?" I was like, "Pokemon Go." And then I guess he wanted the battle or something because he just came at me with the knife, so.
Michael Baker is a living testament to the phrase, "The game must go on." While hunting Pokémon in Forest Grove, Oregon, this young man was suddenly stabbed by a complete stranger. Now, usually when a person gets knifed, their first instinct is to seek immediate medical attention. But Baker simply had to catch 'em all and continued on his Pokémon journey. We admire his determination, but this guy might want to sort out his priorities.
As for Michael, he says he'll be careful next time, but will continue his mission to be the best.
Baker would eventually go to the hospital and get 8 stitches in his shoulder, although he stopped at a convenience store for chips and beer first. This trainer might have risked his life, but nobody ever said becoming a Pokémon master was easy.
We have a driveway, you know.
It's a Pokémon emergency!
Number 8. Rant gets man fired.
You're fired.
If you're a Pokémon fan living in Australia, New Zealand, or the United States, July 6, 2016 was probably the greatest day of your life. While Pokémon Go became available in these 3 lucky countries, the rest of the world had to impatiently wait. This news infuriated Australian Sonny Truyen, who was working in Singapore when the game launched. To express his frustration, Truyen took to Facebook and wrote, quote, "You can't f***ing catch Pokemon in this piece of f***ing shit country." Truyen's comments didn't reflect well on his employers at 99.co, who had recently hired him as their vice president of digital marketing. Truyen was fired shortly thereafter. On the bright side, he can now become a full-time Pokemon trainer.
Now that I'm 10, I can finally get my Pokémon license.
10-year-olds can get a beginner Pokemon from Professor Oak, the town's Pokemon expert.
Number 7. Pokémon vs. ISIS. In the realm of Pokémon, Team Rocket is the greatest threat imaginable.
Meow!
In the real world, however, ISIS is double trouble to say the least. While fighting in Iraq, American soldier Lewis Park didn't capture ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, but he did capture a Squirtle. Playing Pokémon Go on the front line, Park was not only armed with a Pokéball, but a machine gun as well. His photo of Squirtle went viral on Facebook, leading some to argue that Park should have been battling ISIS instead of battling Pokémon. Although, to be fair, when you're going up against terrorists, you need all the help you can get, so having a Blastoise in your corner certainly couldn't hurt. Number 6. Robbers capture Pokémon trainers.
Team Rocket will now take possession of your Pokémon!
Our Pokémon? I can't do that.
To draw in more Pokémon, users can drop lure modules at Pokéstops. So as you can imagine, these beacons attract Pokémon Go players like a Venomoth to a flame. in Missouri. Armed robbers used this to their advantage, enticing players with lures and holding them up at gunpoint. We've heard of hunting Pokémon, but who ever heard of hunting Pokémon trainers?
If they're gonna try to rob our Pokémon, we might as well make it a battle!
Yeah, we can't just surrender! Let's fight back!
The thieves robbed a total of 11 players before the police arrested 4 suspects, ranging from ages 16 to 18. Charged with first-degree robbery, the adult suspects had their bond set at $100,000 each. Number 5. Man caught cheating.
You! Get out of the f***ing car!
Although the purpose of this app is to catch Pokémon, it can also be used to catch your two-timing lover in the act. Evan Scribner made the mistake of capturing a Pokémon at his ex's house while cheating on his girlfriend. Utilizing your device's GPS, this location-based game keeps a record of where your Pokémon are captured. So when Scribner's girlfriend opened Pokémon Go on his phone, she was able to pinpoint exactly where her man had been. As you might have guessed, Scribner is now a single man. Then again, it's not like this is the first time a video game has put a damper on someone's love life.
You gotta see this through the eyes of a woman, you know? What is she gonna think when she comes in here? Oh look, he's got a billion toys. So what? And more video games than a teenaged Asian kid.
Number 4. Car hits player.
The car came flying up the hill, and I was in the middle of it, but I tried to get out of the way so I didn't get hit fully.
Pokemon Go has encouraged countless gamers to explore the great outdoors, although some kids might have been better off staying home. After catching a Pokemon at a museum, Autumn Dizeroth attempted to cross a busy street and got hit by a car. The Pennsylvania teen was then rushed to the hospital, where her injuries were treated. Both Dizeroth and her mother blame Pokemon Go for this accident, but many have debated that it's not the game's fault.
But kids don't just cross a highway. You know, they're not going to walk across a highway for no reason. This thing had her walking across a highway to find a Pokemon.
After all, the loading screen reminds people up front to be alert at all times and stay aware of your surroundings.
All right, you just need to calm down. We need to think for a second. We just need to think this out. Thinking, we need to act.
Number 3. Trainers fall off cliff.
You're not listening, man. Oh, crikey.
Pokemon Go sent 2 players over the edge. No, seriously, it literally sent them over the edge of a cliff. While playing the game in San Diego's North County, these Californians were guided to an ocean bluff. The area was fenced off with warning signs, but that wasn't going to stop the guys from being the best.
On top of the fact that there are several signs out here warning you of how dangerous these cliffs and these bluffs are, in this section, there is a strong, heavy barricade in place keeping you from getting any closer.
Since both young men had their heads in the clouds, neither noticed the seaside cliff below. One fell all the way to the beach, while the other was discovered roughly 50 feet down the cliff. Fortunately, both survived and only suffered minor injuries.
I'm in an extraordinarily large amount of pain. The bone has gone through the skin.
We wonder if Nurse Joy and Chansey ever dealt with this kind of Pokemon emergency.
If there's anything I can do, please, just tell me.
You can be more responsible.
Number 2. Players hop zoo fence.
It wasn't the most responsible thing, but hey, gotta catch them all.
Remember when people went to zoos to see living, breathing animals? Well, we all live in a Pokemon world now. On Facebook, 25-year-old Robin Bartholomew posted, quote, "I am not above breaking and entering for a Pokemon." She was not joking. Along with 26-year-old Adrian Crawford, Bartholomew jumped the fence at Toledo Zoo in pursuit of Pokemon.
We go into the bear pit.
No, run, no.
After being discovered near a tiger exhibit, the 2 were arrested and charged with criminal trespass.
Clearly, the craze has gotten people playing up the wazoo.
Bartholomew has since admitted that her actions weren't very responsible, acknowledging that even a Charizard isn't worth going to jail for.
Charizard! I didn't say start.
Before we get to our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. Players crash into Quebec City cops. It's safe to say that many of the accidents involving Pokémon Go are vehicle-related. Crashing your car into a tree while playing the game is one thing, but crashing into 2 Quebec City cops is another level of bad luck. In the parking lot of a library, a driver and passenger were playing Pokémon Go in a car. The preoccupied driver reversed the vehicle and rammed into a nearby police cruiser. Fortunately, the 2 cops inside weren't seriously injured. The driver actually got off fairly easily too, merely receiving 2 $30 tickets. It's just a good thing these players didn't crash into Officer Jenny.
Hold it! And just where do you think you're going with that Pokemon, young man?
Do you agree with our list? What do you think is the craziest thing to happen while playing Pokemon Go?
No Pokemon and driving.
For more alluring top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.